Hey there, Sean Day, Higher Lead Chill. How you guys doing out there? We are really on a Tuesday. We've been on a Thursday. We've been on a Friday. We'd like to be on Tuesday at 2:30. I screwed that up. We're at 2 instead of 2:30, but we're sort of in between. So I thought we'd go right in the middle so everybody would know that we're going to be out there. But usually it's 2:30 on Tuesdays. We go live with somebody that's in the world of the home service industry spaces. And today by the way, I normally like to rip out some labor market stuff for you guys and put you to sleep doing that with some data. But I'm not going to do that because the government shut down and I don't have a lot of information that they're tossing around. I'm going to put together some things, though, and get a little creative, and I'll rip that out probably next week. As we're in the mid-October, I'll have a lot more information for you for the month of September, obviously. But I got a real good guy on. I was just on his podcast not too long ago, or will be on it or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And Drew, why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll share this with a couple other groups and get it rocking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Sean. And yes, you will be on. You're in a future season of our podcast. So I'll keep you in the loop when that episode goes live. Thanks for having me today. My name is Drew Larison. I am the CEO and visionary of 5 Door Media. We are a marketing agency built for the cleaning industry. So we only work with the cleaning industry, whether that's residential or commercial cleaning, exterior cleaning, window cleaning, those kind of industries is all we work with. But yeah, we exist to help increase the impact of our clients, whether that's internally, locally, or beyond. That's why we're here. So we cover all like digital marketing services, all digital marketing aspects to help you grow your impact. So happy to be here. I had you on an episode of our podcast talking specifically about hiring and recruiting, which makes a lot of sense for who you are and what you do. So I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, Drew. Thanks, man. And I know who you are, but we never really got a chance to meet personally. Yeah. But we've seen, on the podcast, and Holly Moore and a good friend of both ours. And so we just have a lot of things in common, and a lot of, I used to own a residential home cleaning business. So that's why I have the passion for what I do with the home cleaning space. What got you into, getting pumped up about serving that industry, though, specifically cleaning industry?
Yeah, great question. So I've owned our agency. We actually just hit 10 years in June. So I've been an entrepreneur and a business owner. My wife and I have been running the agency for 10 years now. And like a lot of agencies, when we launched, we fit into kind of that generalist agency category where we kind of worked with anybody and everybody. As any young business, you took revenue however you could. So we worked with restaurants, banks, financial advisors, lawn and landscape, and we dipped a little bit into that home service world. But then I got really introduced to that home service world in a big way. I got invited to a mastermind from my friend Dominique Williams, who owns a cleaning company in Kokomo, which is the same city I'm from, called CNC Cleaning. He invited me to this mastermind, which was a room full of home service business owners. And I really learned that there was a need for a agency of integrity in the home service world. And we just dipped our toes in. We started working with a lot of HVAC companies, lawn and landscape companies, cleaning companies. And we thought we niched down enough to work with just home services. But really what we found is we weren't able to really do the best work we possibly could, trying to be experts in lawn and landscape, trying to be experts in HVAC, roofing, and then also the cleaning industries. So earlier this year, we really niched down even harder, and we are working with cleaning companies specifically. And why we made that jump to cleaning, honestly, we looked at our client list and we said, which clients are we building the most impact for? And it was cleaning companies. I'll be honest, they weren't our highest level, number of client. We looked at impact and what we were able actually to do for that industry. And by far it was the cleaning industry. So we decided to jump in to that world, and it's been great. I love this industry. I love the owners. They are so scrappy. They are builders. And I love working with them, but I'm also just a big fan of the impact that their industry makes. I think you really look past the scrubbing and the cleaning and what they're able to do for businesses, but even more specifically families in this country, and to give them back time to spend more time with our families, which is something I feel as we go on as humans, family time keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter because we love to be busy. We love to throw activities on. We love, to take on responsibilities, where if you are not having to worry about your house being cleaned or your house being kept, you're able to spend so much more time with your family, and that's time you just don't get back. And so I love to be able to play a role in making those moments happen, to make the impact of our clients more frequent and more consistent. It's a great industry, and we're so happy to be in it.
Yeah, I love the fact that you looked at it not through the lens of what's the bottom line looking like here. It's who are we helping the most, and that's where we want to be. And I think that's that is so cool. And you use the word impactful, and that's exactly what it is. I mean that when we take a look at niche, we're in trying to focus in on what we want to be really good at. A lot of times we look through the lens of our bottom line, right? Yeah. And I think that could work, and it's interesting. But I think if you look at where you're making the most impact in people's lives, that bottom line will follow and grow and grow and grow. So I love that. And I'm aligned with you totally with the industry. They're just, but it's so scrappy. They fight tooth and nail, these owners. And I remember, I started my cleaning company in the early 2000s. So, you've got the Marthas and the Deb Sardones and the Liz Trotters and the Holly Moores of the world, and Dom
legends.
Tom and others, and Derek, all kinds of people out there that have taken it from sort of that, we clean toilets and we got a vacuum and some rags, to, just a highly professional, we're in so many ways. And you talked about the client end of it and helping the families and spending more time with your children and so on, which is super important, obviously. And not just that, or in addition to that, they're paying people to clean homes so much. You can make a good living now. And I know that from the recruiting end, as I've done this over, going from the business owner of residential cleaning to recruiting for over a decade now. It's like these people are making phenomenal money cleaning homes now.
100%. Yeah. So when I said earlier, we really exist for local or an internal local impact and beyond. So that, internal impact is exactly what you're talking about. If we can help a cleaning company grow their revenue, grow their profitability, grow their client list, what's going to happen internally? We love hearing stories about someone internally got a promotion, or maybe a staff member got a great review and they got a raise and they're able to buy a home for the first time, maybe to buy a new car to transport their family. Like, that's all that internal impact that we talk about. But even more so on like the local impact that we talk about too. I always say, like, no one likes talking about it, but the more we help you grow your business, the more you're probably going to be paying in taxes, right? That's kind of like how that works a lot for a local small business. Doesn't seem fair sometimes when you see some big companies not paying their fair share, but the local small business definitely pays their fair share. But you talk about business growth that we help, create for our clients. That will turn into maybe better school systems. That will turn into better roads in their community, because these cleaning companies are growing so much that they really do pay a solid amount back into their local communities. And it's not just to taxes either. Maybe they're able to sponsor a little league team. Maybe they're able to sponsor nonprofits in their community. So like that local impact is really important for us too, to think about. We're not just creating graphics or ad campaigns. We are supplying growth to our clients that they're able to give back to their local communities, that maybe better roads are happening. Maybe more police are hired in their community because of this, maybe better school systems, and all those other like local impact that can happen. We look at that too. So that's why we always say we exist to partner with cleaning businesses so that together we can increase your impact internally, locally, and beyond. Because just due to the internet, no four walls holds anybody back anymore, right? So like that impact that a cleaning company can have can happen all over the world. And like you see it through great initiatives in the cleaning industry, like that Cleaning for a Reason from, Debbie Sardone. You see the impact that can happen so far beyond not just the four walls of a business or even a local community, but literally the world that the impact of the cleaning industry is creating. That's how we measure our success. It's not how many shares, how many comments or likes, or even leads our clients are getting. How much are we increasing their impact internally, locally, and beyond? Because at the end of the day, that's how we know if we're doing a good job or not.
Yep, absolutely. I love that high level view. I often tell myself I need to do this more with my team. And I tend to do it when we're really having a tough couple of days or a tough week, where I'll let, and we're going back and forth trying to really solve important problems for our clients. And I have to step back and I have to remind them that they are changing the world, literally changing the world. And I get in the weeds a little bit with it. And I say, listen, do you know how many thousands and thousands of people we found jobs for? And you know how many thousands and thousands of people and business owners that we're helping sleep better at night. You do not sleep well when you are short staffed. You do not sleep well when you had two people calling off the next day. You don't sleep well when those things happen. Your significant other might be writing up divorce papers if you're short staffed for a month or two or three. So I let them know those things. We're helping people being not just better business owners, but better fathers, better mothers, better husbands and wives, and all that sort of thing. Because if we can take and relieve some of that stress and make their lives easier, that's good for everybody.
And I think what you're talking about is so powerful and true. But what you're talking about is just the ripple effect of business. I know a lot of people will say business is business, business isn't personal. I completely disagree with that. I think business is one of the most personal things you can do because of the ripple effect that good business, but also what bad business can do to personal people's lives. I mean, you're talking about like a business owner who's making bad decisions, or, they're not running their organization properly. The impact, the ripple effect that could have on however many staff you have is terrifying, right? And that's why the responsibility of a business owner is one of the top of the list when it comes to stressful positions in this country. But also you look at the ripple effect of good that can happen if a business owner that, doesn't just do things for selfish purposes, but also has just a cause and a why to lead others to be better, to lead others to have a better life as well. And like I said, I see that so much in this cleaning industry, and we are so lucky that we get to play a small role in that every day and help more of those stories happen. Whether, like I said, it's internally in their cleaning business or internally in their lives or the lives of the people that work in that business, locally in their communities, and due to the internet, just beyond. It's an honor to be able to serve this industry in that way.
Agreed. Let's get in the weeds a little bit with some of the things that you're doing and what you've got going on and how you're helping. A marketing agency, super competitive space you're in, man. I'll tell you what, let's talk about Google ads. I'm assuming you do Google ads. What's different today than say 2-3 years ago even? And I know I'm hearing, I don't do Google ads because I'm business to business more about, not consumer stuff. So I don't do a lot of Google ad stuff, but I hear it's getting very expensive. I hear, I remember the cost per click or cost per lead or an acquisition for a lead was, $100 or 120. Now it's more than that. It can be. And I know it depends on a lot of variables, but what are you seeing in general on that, as I outline that?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's few product categories across the board in our economy that aren't more expensive now than they were a few years back, right? I think we've had these economical roller coasters with, political elections and COVID, and it's been up and down for a long time. And I think it's hard to find anything that doesn't cost more than it did 5 years ago. Google ads are not an exception to that. I think there's multiple reasons for that. One, I think Google, obviously, like everybody else, has kind of raised their prices when it comes to those ads. But I also think more people are using the Google ad platforms. I think it's becoming more and more common. So due to the auction style that Google AdWords works with, the more people bidding, just like any other auction, the more those prices are going to go up. But what's important to know, and that does not mean just stop looking at Google ads, I don't think. I think what's important to know and what we're seeing is creative branding matter more now than ever before. If you would love to see your Google ads cost go down, even the Meta and Facebook ad world, which we have a lot of success for cleaning clients in that world, where a lot of people have walked away from that world due to not great experiences in the past. We're seeing great results for our clients in the Meta world. It's because creative matters more than ever. And when you're talking Google, that creative starts in that headline that you're typing out for that Google ad. If it looks like everybody else, it will be paid attention to just like everybody else, right? So like, I think a lot of people have been fearful to get creative in those ad-led headlines on Google. But I think that's super important. It starts there, but then where people land after they click is so important.
Yeah.
So at 5 Door Media, we have this 5-door system that we have created to help diagnose any paid ad campaign that you're running. We believe that consumers have to go through 5 doors before they're a paying customer. First door is platform. Are we advertising on the right platform? Second door is creative. Is our creative good enough to stop the scroll and compete with those cute cat videos? Because like in the reality, your cleaning company literally is competing with cute cat videos on the internet for attention. Third door is targeting. Are we targeting the right people? Is it people that do have that income that can spend money with you? Fourth door, and that's what we're getting to with Google Ads, is that post-ad engagement. What happens after they click, right? So we're on the right platform. Our creative stopped them. Our targeting is right. We're targeting the right people that are interested in our services. Great. They clicked. Now what? So a lot of the reasons people's Google Ads costs are going up, cost per lead specifically, their clicks aren't necessarily down, but their conversions are. It's because they haven't spent enough time on that landing page. We're throwing a lot of video content on our clients' landing pages right now because video is, I mean, look what we're doing right now. We're on a video podcast, right? Video is the language of the internet currently. Yeah. That is how the informational consumer in the modern times wants to consume information, is through short form video content. No different. On your landing page, having a video explaining the offer that got to click them over is a great tool to use on that landing page. Video, I know, is a harder piece of content to create, but it's converting well. But is it easy to find the form when they click over from a Google ad? Are you making it as easy as possible for them to show interest, click on your ad, fill out a form, and become a lead? We make it way too difficult sometimes, right? Yeah. The form is on the bottom of the fold. We think we have to put like a ridiculous amount of content on a landing page, but in reality, a lot of people look at time on site as a really important like KPI for their ad campaigns. But to me, if they're on the right platform, our creative stop them, they are the right customer. I don't care if they're on my landing page for 10 seconds and they fill that form out and dip. Sure. I don't care. I don't care if they hang out, right? So a lot of times we're putting way too much content because we think we need to give them as much information as possible. If we're talking about a Google Ads specific customer or user, they know what they're looking for. Yeah. This ad did not just pop up on their Google feed as they were looking for cat videos, right? Yeah. They're searching for residential cleaning company near me. They're searching for window cleaner near me. They are ready to research exactly what you do. We got lucky enough. They clicked on your link. They landed on your website. You don't need to tell them a bunch of information. They already know it. They're halfway there. Make it as easy as possible for them to become a lead. And then the sales process, which is door 5, kicks in and closes that lead.
Awesome. Do you find, and this is just me, came to mind with my experiences when I'm searching for stuff and I hop on a website, whether I'm just doing research or I'm actually interested in maybe purchasing something, a service or a product. I notice that there's the pop-ups, there's chatbots, there's quick. What do you find? I find the pop-ups to be annoying now because when I'm trying to research, I hate the pop-ups, and I don't really do a lot of purchasing pop-up thing like that. That urgent pop-up thing comes up and says, you better click now or else, and I'm like, get out of the way. And then it'll pop up again. Chatbots for me, have come a long, long way. It used to be I hated to use them because they weren't ready for us yet. They could answer 5 questions and that was it. None of the time was it the question I was looking for. I need a human being. Now that's different. So talk just a little bit about that landing page or web page or website and how you in that speed, because I always talk about speed on the recruiting end too. It's got to be easy. It's got to be fast because they're going to the competitor if it's not.
Well, what's tough about being a small business owner in the year 2025 is, in a way, we are on a level playing field with all of the large companies in general too, right? They have websites. we have websites. They can create video content. We can create video content. So a lot of times we're on that same level playing field. And what gets tough is those big companies will make function changes or functionality changes or features added to their website. And that now I talk a lot about expectations of consumers, but like that new functionality that Amazon, right, maybe creates is now the expectation of our customers too.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that Amazon did that changed informational consumers and just online consumers' expectations, maybe bigger than anything else, is that one-click purchase.
Yep.
Right? We are logged into Amazon. You're telling me I can just click it and it's bought. I don't need to put my credit card number in every time. I don't need to type my shipping address in every time. I don't need, any of that none of that has to happen. It's quick, it's speed, right? You see this with Uber and like what Uber has done to our expectations. You're telling me I can just pull up an app, tell you where I want to go, and there's a car there in 5 minutes. Speed, 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 but also ease to spend money. Make it easy for me to spend money or tell you my information, and like I can go on with my day so you can tell me next steps later. That is so important. Because of those expectations those big companies have set, we have to look at those expectations now as small business owners and make sure we're doing our best. Now, listen, like there is not a residential cleaning company in this country that's going to have the technological advances that Amazon has, right? But we can change what we can change to make that expectation and the experience that a consumer has on our websites as close as possible to what they're expecting on an Amazon thing. Right. So, I mean, make sure it's easy to find that form. Make sure your forms are not too long. A lot of people will ask for your blood type and your, brother's maiden name and like all these crazy information. It really doesn't matter. A lot of times we just need very basic information. Let the sales process kick in from there. You don't need everything up front. All you need to do is make it as easy as possible and as fast as possible for someone to go from someone who is interested to a lead. Do whatever you possibly can to make that as easy as possible. And I love the technological advances we're seeing with AI, or even like the voice AI or people calling and they're able to book with like no human contact at all. I know our friend Holly Moore is like really into that right now. And like she's seeing that in her cleaning company in a big way, and it's working. Chatbots have advanced so much, but just like any other piece of technology that AI is involved, you get out of it what you put into it. So do not think that there is a new shortcut for chatbots on your website where you just have to download this one and put a plugin on your website. No, the ones that are performing really, really well, that are increasing that impact when it comes to lead forms and new clients coming in, they have put a lot of information on the back end of those chatbots. They have trained it everything it possibly needs to know about their business so it can answer any possible question about your business when people are asking in those chatbots. I think it's a dangerous world. I wouldn't want a chatbot being fully responsible on speaking on behalf of Five Door Media if I didn't know I trained that thing as much as I possibly could to answer the questions that I wanted to answer in the certain way I want them answered. So I mean, it's a dangerous world you got to be careful with. But technology has advanced in huge ways. And I think that is due to consumer expectations changing so much from these large companies. And as small business owners, we just need to do our best to take note of what these large companies are doing and how much can we, as much as possible, give that same experience to our customers online. But it comes down to really like speed and usability. How fast is your website to get the information they need or to take the next step? And how easy is it for them to do it? Those are the two things you should be focusing on the most.
Yeah, I love it. And I love your insight on the chatbots. We're working with some right now, and I thought it was going to be, oh, cool, this cool technology, blah, blah, and it is. It's one of the things that I have with our processes, it starts with sales, and we get a new client, and then the most important thing is setup. Setup has to be done perfectly, or everything else gets screwed up a lot. And that's exactly what you're talking about with the chatbots. If that is not set up properly, it's going to burn you very quickly. Let me switch gears a little bit. So we talk a lot about Google and Facebook when we talk about marketing and agencies and advertising to get new clients or prospects or branding. In my world recruiting, it's Indeed, right? Indeed's the biggest, the
Sure.
baddest,
Yep.
and all that stuff. We don't necessarily all like it, but it's the player, and that's we got to use it. We have to understand it. And we have to use it as effectively as we can to get the best return. And so, what about TikTok? What about some of the other platforms that are out there? X. I just got somebody from X to sign up. We just started really using it a little bit because it's there. We don't understand how to use it really properly, but I'm like real interested when I hear somebody say, yeah, I just found you on X and blah, 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 blah. Well, we're really going to start to look into that a little bit, but I'm really curious, I guess on all the platforms or not, whatever you think, but you know better than I do, Drew, I'm real interested in TikTok though, because I think they've got some paid stuff now. I don't know of anybody that's really taken advantage of that. I don't know if you tinker with that at all yet or not, or if you have been. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, TikTok's an interesting platform, and obviously governmentally it's been up in the air, for a while. And I think a lot of business owners were nervous to fully invest into something that they didn't know was going to exist or not.
Right.
However, I think other people have been nervous about it in general just because it's video based. And like I said earlier, video content is a tougher battle to win. I think graphics used to be really difficult for the average small business owner, and then Canva became a thing, and all of a sudden we're all graphic designers, and I love that technology for that. Canva's mission from the start, which I've known about them for as long as they've been in business.
Yeah.
I found out about them earlier, but their mission is to help as many people tell their stories, in graphic form as much as possible. So it's much easier to create graphics now. Video is still that next hill of content that's difficult for people. And I think it comes down to a lot of people are afraid of being on camera.
Yeah.
A lot of people have this big phobia of being in front of a camera, and which I get. I don't have that problem, but I also grew up, I was a musician, so I've been on stage for a while. I'm used to speaking and being in front of people, which my kids are getting into. Sorry, my nose itches. Allergies have been crazy for me lately.
Yeah.
My kids are starting to get into local theater groups, and I'm so excited. Yeah. Not because I think they're Hollywood bound, but because they're going to earn that soft skill of public speaking at a very young age. And I think it's going to service them very well in life. But video is tough for people. A lot of people get nervous. A lot of people are self-conscious, and TikTok is 100% video based. So it kind of makes it difficult. They're scared to jump on it, but they do have some paid ad platforms. I will say we've ran a few campaigns in the past. It's not cheap. It is not a cheap platform to run campaigns on. But I will say, just due to how their algorithm works, it is possible to be very hyper local on TikTok and have a heavy reach towards your local audience organically still. And, Facebook organic content has been a dying breed for a while, right? They want you to spend money. They want you to spend money. They want you to spend money. There's strategies on TikTok to really help create that local organic content and to hit a large chunk of your audience. Now, I will say TikTok is still a very younger platform as a whole, the same way Instagram was, where the parents started catching on, and now they're on TikTok too. But there's definitely an older, middle-age generation on TikTok as well. But that's the cool thing about TikTok to me, because I just don't think their ad platform has leveled out enough where any small business can really afford to run a consistent campaign. It might be good for a short burst, type of short-term campaign. But there's still a really great opportunity for organic success when it comes on TikTok. But like I said, you've got to be okay with being on camera. You've got to be comfortable, and you've also got to be okay with being a little silly, right? You can't do a straight serious video on TikTok. That's just not the language of that platform, right? And I think that's important for business owners to know. Every platform has a language. And you've got to learn how to speak.
Where I'm putting the Santa Claus hat on and stuff like that when I do my TikTok stuff. You got to do something a little bit goofy.
You got to catch their attention, because, like I said, that is a fast-paced platform, right? People are scrolling that thing very quickly, and the content just never ends. So we're able to do that, but goes back to that door 2 of ours. Your content has to be able to stop them in their tracks or in their scroll, so to speak. So you've got to be willing to be on camera, and also possibly willing to be a little silly right?
Yeah.
But it's also a really cool opportunity for a brand to personalize themselves online, which I think no matter what social platform you're participating in, that idea of personifying your brand, like if your brand, your company was a human being, what would they be like on Facebook? If your
Right.
company or brand was a human being and a personality, what would they look like on TikTok, right? And then what would that personality do when you, with the ability that you have on TikTok to create content? Would they do food reviews? Would they do TikTok dances, right?
Yeah.
What is your brand's personality, and how do you use these platforms and the attention that's there to the best of your ability to get attention on you, and then slowly turn them into leads from there?
Awesome. What are you thinking about AI? Let's dig into that
Oh
before we
man,
get closer to wrapping it up here. And I want you to also tell me a little bit more about the ISSA party you're putting
sure, yeah,
on here pretty soon, because we were talking a little bit about that, and I was all pissed off that I'm not going to be there this year because it
yeah,
sounds phenomenal. So you guys that are watching this live, hang on. You're going to hear something. I mean, cool as hell. If you're going to ISSA and Las Vegas this year, hang on tight here. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about AI. One of the things I'm curious about, and I don't know if there is anything to do, at least right now, but I use ChatGPT for searching now and
yeah,
researching. I don't use Google searching very much at all anymore. I just go right to ChatGPT and I'm like, I need this. What do you think the way? And frankly, I'm using it more and more compared to when I used YouTube all the time to find out how to fix my dishwasher, how to
yeah.
fix this, how to do the how-tos. That's YouTube, right? It's entertainment and how-tos. I'm Chat GPT all the way with that stuff. So my question is specific question, then anything else you want to add to sort of the peripheral of that. Are we going? I'm doing this already. I need a good restaurant 15 minutes away from where I'm at right now. And here's where I'm at. I'm using it to search for things. I was searching on Google. And what does that mean for home cleaning services? I can't
Yeah.
be the only one doing it. What does that mean? And how do you show up? Is there any difference other than SEO and the things we typically do to show up on Google? Is there anything yet that is like, has anybody come up with the gold nugget on how to, if you're
Sure.
searching my company, you're going to find it ChatGPT in?
Yeah, I'll tell a quick story to dive into this conversation of AI. And honestly, it happened over the weekend with my son. So I love my kid so much. I love both of my kids, but my
Yeah,
son is very inquisitive like me. And it's
love
like
it.
this terrifying realization that, like, oh my gosh, he's a little me, and the terror that comes along with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
over the weekend, we were watching, I think it was one of like the Despicable Me movies.
Uh-huh.
And he was asking me, like, hey, look it up, some random fact. And I go to Google. He's like, no, go to ChatGPT. You won't find anything on Google. And I
Nothing.
look at him like, what just happened? Right?
Mhm.
This kid, my son is 9, by the way. He
Wow.
is 9 years old. And I think due to his parents being who his parents are, he's heard of ChatGPT maybe a little bit more than the average 9-year-old. But like, he also has a preference.
Right.
He has a preference of search to find out that specific type of information we were looking for. And I think that he was talking about a character in this movie he heard one time was also a character in a movie made years ago. And like, it was like a sneaky, they put this character in like the background of this movie. He's like,
Okay.
look
Yeah.
that up though. Look that up. And I go to
Yeah.
Google. He's like, no, go to ChatGPT. You won't find what I'm looking for on Google. So like, it really showed me this is a thing. And when you really, and I talk, like I said, I talk about expectations a lot. If ChatGPT is able to now change the expectations of where to find information that we hope is accurate for a 9-year-old about a movie, imagine what the rest of the population is doing, right?
Yeah.
Such an eye-opening moment. I think my kids teach me more than anybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
So when it comes to what can a small business do with this, dear me, we don't have enough time. Talk about like the ability of AI. And still, I think we're a few years into this when it, like, common users can just
Right.
use it. We still haven't scratched the surface of what's available and what could be done with AI tools and AI agents now and custom GPTs and things like that. Haven't scratched the surface. But to your question of how do we make sure, like we've always done with SEO, how do we make sure that our cleaning companies are doing our due diligence to show up now on these new platforms that people are searching? Which the first point I want to make is really important. SEO is not dead. And I think there are some marketers out there that are jumping on the trend train, trying to, spark some views and likes on the internet saying SEO is dead, do this instead. SEO is not dead. Google is still an unbelievably massive platform. Google still gets billions and billions and billions of searches every single day. And I don't see that slowing down on a mass scale, possibly ever.
Right.
Second point, Google is also heavily investing in AI. Google is investing heavily into their own AI tools. They're investing in other people's AI tools. Google is not just stepping to the side as an SEO company and saying, well, SEO, that AI stuff's not for us. Oh no. If you go to a Best Buy or any store where you can buy a Google Chromebook right now, you open up that Chromebook, you create a new Google account on that Chromebook. It no longer takes you to google.com. It takes you to Google Gemini, which is Google's AI tool.
Yeah.
Google is taking this seriously. So SEO is not dead. SEO is evolving. Google is evolving. And there was a Gary Vaynerchuk quote years ago. If anybody's going to take you out of business, take yourself out first, right? And I think Google is in the process of following that advice. I don't know what Google's going to look like in 5 years. I think it's going to look very different in 3 years. I don't know what Google will look like in 5 years, but I do think they are on the train. SEO is not dead. It's evolving. Second thing we need to realize, how we have looked at SEO for a long time has been through the lens of keywords or key phrases. How can we put keywords or key phrases into the content of our website or in the meta descriptions or the meta links and the schema of our website to when these keywords are searched for, we pop up, right? That is like very high level how SEO services work. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it too. But like I said, we ain't got time for all of that today. A big switch that's happening. We are no longer just playing the keyword or key phrase game. We are now playing the question and answer game. And here's what I mean by that. AI search, once again, talk a lot about expectations. AI search and users, the modern informational consumer, using AI LLMs, learning language models like Gemini, like ChatGPT, like Grok or Claude, those kind of things, have changed our expectations. You don't go to ChatGPT and just search cleaners near me. You don't go to ChatGPT and search best cleaning service, Madison, Wisconsin, or whatever city you're in, right? No, you talk to this platform like it's a human being that has the answers to everything you know. Hey, Chatty, I'm looking to get my house cleaned. Who should I hire to clean my house in Madison, Wisconsin? That's the search now.
Yeah.
It is no longer keyword or key phrase based. It is question. It is communicative. It is question and answer based. So, like how we have adapted our websites over the years to respond to keywords and keyword phrases that are being searched inside Google, we need to also now start looking at our websites as question and answer based.
Yep.
Really in-depth blog content, straight answering the top 100 frequently asked questions that your cleaning company gets asked on a daily basis. You should have a 25 to 3,000 word blog post answering that question as in depth as you can go, mentioning locally where you are. You should have an FAQ section generally on your website as a whole, answering those top maybe 10 FAQs that you get. You should be creating video content, asking that exact same question that you answered in the blog, answer that in a video piece of content, putting that on YouTube. Switching our focus. I'm not saying SEO is dead and keywords and key phrases don't matter anymore, but questions and answers also matter now as well. There's so much work business owners have put in for those keywords and key phrases. We need to now switch the work to be answering the questions that people are asking. And that is how short term people are going to be winning the AI search game. Do I have all the answers? No. I think there's a phrase, you have to do something for 10,000 hours to call yourself an expert on it. There are two acronyms that are commonly being used in the marketing world right now. Yes, it is so new. We haven't even agreed on an acronym for it. There is AEO, which is Answer Engine Optimization. And then there's GEO, which is Generative Engine Optimization.
I've heard of the first. I haven't heard of the second.
Yes. So we haven't decided. Like, it's so new that we haven't decided even what acronym to go with. But what's important, those acronyms have not existed for 10,000 hours. So I want to caution small business owners maybe watching or listening to this, when you're seeing a marketing company saying they have cracked the nut for AI search, they have found the gold, they have dug through the mud and they found the gold for AI search. It's not true. They might have found some things that are helping on a small level figure this out, but AI itself hasn't figured out how they want this to work, right? You could go to ChatGPT right now, ask one question, get certain answers, right? Like, hey, who should I hire to clean my house in Madison, Wisconsin? You could go back to them 24 hours later. Hey, who should I hire to clean my house in Madison, Wisconsin? It could be a completely different answer with completely different cited sources. Nobody has figured this out yet. The same way, we're just living through time again, right? Trends and technology is secular. The same way when SEO became a thing, and that acronym, no one knew what it meant for a long time. No one knew how to crack that nut. We're doing the exact same thing now for AI platforms. But what I can safely say, if you spend a lot of time creating that content, answering questions that you get asked all the time, answering the questions that probably your customers are typing into ChatGPT or other LLM AI models, even if AI decides, no, that content doesn't matter, is it going to hurt your user experience of your website to have a ridiculous amount of content answering the most frequently asked questions that your customers are asking for your industry? Will that hurt you in the long run? No. It won't.
Probably not.
It will create a great user experience. Honestly, those questions and answer blogs, that's going to help your organic SEO as well, right? So it doesn't hurt anything to start that strategy. And it all goes back to switching that, switch in your brain. We are no longer just living in a keyword or key phrase world. We are also now living in a question and answer world due to these AI platforms have changed our expectations of how they should interact with a search type of function on the internet.
Man, you outlined that just beautifully. That makes so much sense. I mean, we're just, and it's so obvious, but it never is, right? Until you talk about it and you get around like-minded people, and the humanness of this AI world right now is just still something that's so important. And it's just, and you've used the word expectation. I'm telling you how I'm searching online now, and it's basically, well, then use that, because that's what people are doing. That's what you should. But we have to step away and think about those things. And like your example with your 9-year-old, and you kind of go ding, 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 ding. Wait a minute. Yeah. He's exactly right. So it's a fun, exciting time right now. And I tell I've got one in college, and I've got a 17-year-old, a junior in high school, and I'm very big on, when we're around a kitchen table or we're around adults, I don't allow adults to sit there and ream the world and say how horrible the world this is. I just don't allow it when my kids are around.
Yeah.
Because number one, they don't need that. They don't, what good is that going to do?
Adults don't need that. Goodness.
Nobody needs that nonsense, right? And so I think, which leads me to one more thing on the AI thing. I've read this, heard this. It's been on video after video. AI isn't going to replace you, but the people who learn to use it will. Do you agree with that, or what are your thoughts about that? Because there's people that are scared to death of it too.
Yeah, and I think throughout the history of time, people are always afraid of the next thing technology-wise, right? I mean, there were people that were afraid of phones. There were people that were afraid of email. I mean, you probably imagine the freak out the post office had when emails came out, and they're like, well, what the heck? How are we going to send letters? Oh, don't worry. There's this thing called e-commerce coming your way, and the post office is going to make more money than you've ever made in your life shipping, customers the things they bought online. Now, when it comes to that phrase, and that is a common phrase, a friend of mine, Angela Chinowski, she says a lot. She owns Unique Genius, and she really, I think she was the first one to really tell me that. We did a season on AI on our podcast as well. And you're right. You are not going to lose your job due to AI, but there's a chance you might lose your job to someone who speaks AI better than you do. And I think that's very real. And I mean, we are hiring right now at 5 Door Media. We're hiring at Larison Media, and we have had applicants on broad spectrums, where I can absolutely tell that they answered all of our interview questions using AI.
Right.
And as the person interviewing them, I have such a hard battle with that because I have zero expectations that they're not going to use AI in any sort of way when they work here, right? Now, there's the element of I want them to be upfront and honest and not sort of like sneak in AI to make it seem like it's 100% them. So I walk that tightrope of what I expect and what's okay. But at the same time, if I have an applicant that we're talking about here, we give out like test projects before we hire somebody. Here's client A, who is a bakery or whatever. I think we've used in the past. They're wanting to sell more on their website. Their website views are down. Like, what's the strategy you would create to help them get more website views? If someone just comes up with a strategy, okay. But if somebody comes to me and says, I would go to a ChatGPT source, I would use the tools that are available to me through AI to come up with like taglines, to come up with this to help save time and make this project more efficient and effective. I like that answer, right?
Yeah.
Compared to somebody who just comes up with just marketing strategy, and maybe they used AI for their answer, but they didn't tell me. I'd rather someone be upfront about how would you use all the tools available to you in the world that we live in to make this more successful for our client, right? And if they're like, oh, I would use AI for this, I'd create a custom GPT for this, I would set up an AI agent for this. I'm like, why am I not hiring that person, right? Because they have invested in themselves and the skills that they have and their knowledge of AI and the tools that are available. They have invested in that to make my company better, right? To make my client experience better. So compared to someone who like, no, I just don't believe in AI.
Right.
I don't believe you're going to work for my company then. Like, that's a reality, right? I don't think we're moving to a space where AI is an option anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love seeing applicants that have showed me that they've invested in their own time to be educated in AI and how that could possibly make us better.
Awesome. I love talking AI. I can talk to you for hours about it. I've listened to you on other podcasts, Drew, and it's just fun stuff. Let's get into the ISSA stuff. Anybody out there that's going in November? I think it's in November, right? ISSA this year in Vegas. Yeah. So what do you got going on? What do you got cooking there for people to have a little fun?
No, I love it. Yeah, ISSA is great. Obviously, it's like the largest cleaning conference, I think, in the United States, out in Vegas once a year. It is the week of November 10th this year. And last year, I band together with some people that serve the cleaning industry as well, and we threw a fun little party. And we got requests, do it again this year. So I'm actually teaming up with Holly Moore, who both of us know, over at the cleaning software, as well as Molly Moran, who she does some business and self-coaching for the cleaning industry as well. We are hosting an event that we're calling Break the Ice, which is a fun residential only cleaning night of adventure inside of a bar inside the Mandalay Bay, which that's where ISA is taking place. So you don't have to go anywhere. It's right where we're all at. Nice. Called Breaking the Ice inside of -5 ice bar inside of Mandalay Bay. So literally this entire bar is made of ice. Your cups that you get are ice. The seats that you'll sit in are on ice. They give you a parka to wear and gloves and hats when you come in. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be like a very Vegas, like extravagant experience. It's going to be really fun. And if you do get cold, don't worry. There is a warming room, as well as we've rented out another space in a neighboring bar, which is literally right next door, called 1923 Prohibition Bar. And it's just going to be a fun night. Man. It's going to be a really fun night to connect with residential, cleaning professionals and give, ISSA is high majority in that commercial cleaning space. That residential often is like the the little child that doesn't get as much attention. So we just want to make sure that they know that they matter and the work that they're doing matters. And we're wanting to throw this party. So if you're looking for, I can put a link in somewhere to this if you want. We're selling tickets on Eventbrite. They're $100, and like most of your drinks are included. I mean, I think we have like a cap at the bar or something like that. There's some food going to be at the party as well. But like we've rented out these spaces with those partners, like I said, the cleaning software and Live Bright coaching through Molly Moran as well.
Molly's phenomenal. Both Holly and Molly are Holly and Molly.
Molly and Holly. Yeah, I tell them all the time. I feel like I'm on like a 70s sitcom show. Like it's the Molly and Holly show. So and Drew's just here to tag along. No, but it's going to be a really fun night. I'm looking forward to it. ISSA is always really
awesome. Fun. Awesome. Yeah, Drew, if you if you got somebody that can go in and just comment on our this is live, so just comment on it with that link. And I've been running 5doormedia.com along the scrolling on the bottom here. Anything else you want to comment on or put in there, feel free to do that. Everybody, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Drew, I appreciate it, man. As always, it was fun and informative, and you got a lot of stuff going on, helping a lot of businesses, a lot of people, and just somebody really I'm happy to have gotten to know and doing some things with and just hanging out with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on. Thanks to everybody who's watching. Hopefully we'll see you in Vegas. Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. Everybody out there, 2:30 next Tuesday. I don't know who I've got. We got somebody on, and we'll see you then. Take good care out there.